Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind, my friends, these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages in those readings. And if you're looking for a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, let's get started. Sagittarius. What's the current energy around Sagittarius for the week ahead? These two cards are dancing around. Okay, Sagittarius. Ooh, lots of cards coming out for you this week. Okay, let's have a look here. So these came out in partners, it seems like, and this one came out in the middle. So what I'm seeing here right away for you, Sag, is this idea that there could be something moving around right now that's making you feel a little bit out of sorts. Some conflict or some reorganization in things that are outside of your control here, but kind of making you feel left out, making you feel a little bit like you're having a bit of a, could be described as kind of even like an identity crisis where you're not quite sure what's going on surrounding you right now, and it's kind of leaving you feeling out of sorts a little bit. I'll turn the camera so you can see those cards. There we go. And then we see this co-create card. So this makes me feel like whatever is getting reorganized around you, or whatever is getting redistributed around you, that's kind of making you question, what am I doing? What's going on? It's all happening for you to create something new. So that makes me feel like there's something around you that may not serve a purpose anymore, and it could actually be even maybe hindering your creation of something new. And it feels like you're really tuning into yourself here, like you're working very closely with your higher self to create something. And in order for this to have space, something's got to go. And it feels like whatever is leaving your energetic space right now is really not for you. And that's kind of getting confirmed here, where we see clean it up and not for you, because it's almost like you're needing to do a metaphorical and figurative sort of cleaning up. And so that could involve looking at patterns, looking at behaviors, looking at the home to see perhaps there's some stuff that actually needs to go. There's stuff around you that's no longer serving you, Sagittarius, and that's making you feel a little bit of an identity crisis maybe, or a little bit of an uncertainty, but it's also bringing in a lot of room to make something new and to create a new chapter, to create a new timeline. In order to do that, we have to sort of clean up a bit. And sometimes the divine assists us outside of our control by sort of reorganizing things, redirecting things so that you're in a place where it can feel a little bit like the space itself creates a bit of uncertainty because it's unfamiliar. But I feel like regardless, you're going to have a lot of space to create something new coming up, and that you will be receiving some good news, seeing message in the bottle on the bottom of the deck. So even if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts because of all of this redirection and redistribution, reorganization of priorities and energy around you, even though it's making you probably feel a little bit uncomfortable from what I'm seeing, it's definitely stuff that's got to go. It's you making space, you cleaning it up, you making room for new things. And as I cut the deck, you can see the Judgment card with the Five of Cups. So, and sneaking right behind that Five of Cups, there's the Five of Pentacles. So that sort of makes me feel like, yes, there is some emotion tied to this. Yes, there's some feelings of who am I? What's going on? Why doesn't this same stuff make me feel good anymore? It's that kind of cleansing, clearing. And seeing the Judgment card here really confirms that for me. This is sort of like feels like a self-awakening, self-realizations that lead to awakenings, and an understanding of where you're going next. The Judgment card, we're almost at the end of the journey here. So it really feels like you're about to begin again. And in order to do that, you're cleaning up space. Judgment is the last card here. So it's like you've made it to the end of a journey, and now that journey is done, it's time to start a new journey. And you're sort of in the place right now where it feels like you're still grieving or releasing. And in some ways, it's hitting you emotionally here. And it may be causing some confusion. You might not be certain why these things don't feel so connected to you anymore, and it could be taking the shape of relationships. It could be different things you used to enjoy. It could be some habits and patterns that aren't serving you anymore. It could be that certain opportunities are just sort of wrapping up. It's interesting. Let's see what the tarot cards are going to reveal for you, Sagittarius. Oh yeah, Queen of Pentacles in reverse. That makes sense because you probably need to be grounded a little bit here. You probably finding yourself again feeling like almost dissociating from the things in life that used to really resonate for you. So it feels like right now it's time to put the focus back on yourself and really ground into your day again. Really find ways to be grounded and to feel a sense of security that comes from your day to day without looking necessarily for any sort of validation or external security. You're providing that for yourself by using your affirmations, by making sure you're sort of connected to your day very consciously and mindfully, keeping an eye on what you're thinking about, where you're feeling inspired, what your focus is on. And seeing this Ten of Swords tells me that this was very sudden, this shift, this ending, this transformative moment where you're sort of closing out one chapter and ready for a new one. You're in the middle of that right now. And it feels like this closing, this ending, this shift has kind of come up suddenly. And you may not have seen it coming. And it may have really, like I said, thrown you into almost like excuse me, almost like an identity crisis is what I'm feeling, because things just don't feel like they used to. And there's the Four of Cups confirming that. You could be going through even a mild period of depression where you're feeling kind of like nothing is bringing you up anymore. You're feeling like, the best way to describe it is, have you ever gone through a moment where things in your life changed in a way that you didn't initiate? It's just sort of feeling like you don't want to do the same things that you used to do, but you're not sure what to do instead just yet. And so you're sort of in this place of almost feeling like you're not sure if you missed out on something or if this is a loss and you should try and get it back. And ultimately it's going to clear up. We're seeing the Nine of Pentacles. Ultimately, this is going to clear up. And that was confirmed with this message in the bottle card, that you will be getting some good news, in the sense of not necessarily like the phone's going to ring and you're going to get good news, but that you're going to be aware of understanding yourself in a new way soon. And I think it's going to be very empowering, and it's going to have been a path that sort of shows you who you are today. This is almost like a new you, and it feels to me like it's a version of yourself that is ready for the next chapter. And it's interesting, bottom of the deck we see the Magician. So this does sort of feel like the changes are happening outside of your control, but it almost feels like in some ways your readiness for something new is what initiated this. You know what I mean by that? Like, because you were ready for something new, energetically, you started to attract new experiences. And to make space for those new experiences, the old experiences kind of had to go. And you might just still be cleaning some pieces up still, where you're still maybe questioning if something really is for you or it's not. And seeing that not for you card really makes me feel like this is just no longer for you. You know, you're moving on to something else here. Very interesting. Let's see. Let's clarify some of these cards. As I cut the deck, we see Judgment again and with the Hermit. So you're looking at things from a new perspective because you've had a self sort of realization. Self-awareness has shifted you into a realization about a new timeline, a new chapter, one that is just getting started. It feels like it kind of feels like you're still in the end zone of the other timeline and cleaning that up. Okay, there's the Five of Wands. So interesting seeing the Five of Wands come out here, because I feel like that shows me that in this space that you've been in, you might have been trying to, remember I was saying something about external validation, and that Five of Wands makes me feel like you may have been engaging in like a comparison exercise where you look at other people and think, well, gosh, how come they're still going strong and I'm done with this, you know? And those kind of things just end up making us either feel better than or worse than, and both of those are illusions, because we're all just on unique journeys here. And so comparing something that appears similar is sort of like misguided in a way, because it may appear like a similar journey, but you know, you don't really know what's going on for that other person. You only know what you see. And seeing the Five of Wands tells me that you are leveling up, but as you're doing so, you could still get caught in that comparison game where you start to question yourself against others as opposed to just looking at yourself. You know what I mean? Very interesting. Ten of Swords. Yeah. So your confidence and your inner strength are sort of at a place where, you know, Ten of Swords, you're at the end of something. So your tank might be on empty here when I see this strength card in reverse. So really taking care of the self is going to be important this week. Really nurturing yourself, providing yourself with, you know, inspiration, compassion, and patience are the words coming to mind. Really give yourself those things this week, Sag. Give yourself patience, give yourself inspiration, and give yourself compassion, because you're going through the shift of a timeline here. So take yourself out for a walk. Take yourself out to a museum. You know, go check out your art gallery in your city. Do something that feels sort of inspiring for you, whatever that looks like. You know, those examples just came to the top of my head. But maybe go to the library and get a book about something new that you've always been interested in but didn't have time to explore. I feel like you're going to have some time now. So that could help you sort of master that inner strength and start to feel more like you're grounding from within, as opposed to trying to understand yourself by comparing yourself to others, which can sort of deplete any kind of self-acceptance. Now, looking at that Four of Cups, we see the Page of Swords with the Two of Pentacles, which makes me feel like there is something here for you to look at, as opposed to sort of looking back and thinking, I've lost something, or why doesn't that resonate for me anymore, and sort of getting a low mood because of that. You actually have an opportunity here with this Page of Swords, but you might not see it. Seeing the Page of Swords in reverse with the Two of Pentacles makes me think that there is a very new idea that is sort of revealing itself to you very subtly right now in signs and synchronicities. You might be seeing certain advertisements for things, or you're seeing some examples of stuff that, you know, you're like, oh yeah, I was curious about that once upon a time. And or maybe you're not even noticing. When I see that Page of Swords in reverse, kind of makes me feel like you're not even noticing. But it feels like you've got some options, but you're not sure which way to go because your mood is so low. You feel kind of like you've missed out on something. But really, it was just the end of a cycle, my friends. And that happens, especially when we're being called on almost by our higher selves to do something specific. And I feel like you are being called on by your higher self when I see that co-create card. This Five of Cups in reverse shows me that you're still, you got the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups. So you're really moving through a journey of emotional release this week. So it could be a very emotional week for you where you find yourself sort of even just feeling your emotions a bit amplified. And, like I was saying earlier, being really mindful about your thoughts is going to be important because your thoughts are what change the emotion and the emotional intensity, and then that shifts your vibration. So really being mindful of where your thoughts are taking you this week and the quality of your thoughts. Are you accepting this process and sort of leaning into it, or are you resisting it? Are you still in the throes of sort of releasing the emotional intensity of this? I think changing the way you're thinking about it and the focus on which you're placing could really make a difference here. Let's see what the highest guidance is for Sagittarius for the week ahead. Divine timing. So that's a confirmation here for you that this is divinely timed and it is outside of your control to some degree. So what you do have control over is the quality of your thoughts, is what you decide to do with the space that's been created here. You have the ability to really manage yourself right now, and that's where you need to be, is just focused on grounding and releasing, surrendering to all of this, and being mindful and conscious about how you're thinking about this process as it's unfolding. Strength and guidance, yeah. So this idea of inner strength being your guide, and that right now managing how you care for yourself is going to be where you have control and where you can find some guidance from the self. And bottom of the deck is surrender, which we've also mentioned. So really surrendering this week, Sag, into a new timeline, accepting endings and seeing the exciting possibilities and potentials in new beginnings. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, Sagittarius. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. Sending you so much love.